In Amish culinary culture, one-pot meals are especially popular. Large Amish families rely on hearty, nutritious meals that save both time and effort, making one-pot cooking a beloved tradition. Here are 10 delicious and convenient Amish one-pot meals, guaranteed to bring warmth and comfort to your family dinners. 1. Potato and sausage foil packets. Imagine carefully unwrapping a hot foil packet fresh from the oven, releasing the irresistible aroma of smoked sausage blending perfectly with tender potatoes, carrots, onions, bell peppers, and celery, all seasoned with garlic, salt, pepper, and your favorite herbs. If you've never made a foil package before, this kielbasa and potato recipe is a perfect place to start. Begin by slicing the smoked sausage into bite-sized pieces and cutting the vegetables into uniform chunks for even cooking. Toss them in olive oil, generously sprinkle with seasoning, and distribute evenly onto squares of heavy-duty aluminum foil. Carefully fold the edges of each packet to seal tightly, ensuring steam stays inside to tenderize the ingredients. Bake in a preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 30 to 40 minutes, or until the vegetables are fork tender and sausage is perfectly heated through. Finally, open the packets briefly to sprinkle a generous layer of shredded cheddar or mozzarella cheese on top. Reseal lightly and allow the cheese to melt into gooey deliciousness for another 3 to 5 minutes. Each flavorful packet is a convenient, satisfying meal that will delight the whole family. Any waxy potato will work. Cutting potatoes big enough for a fork, but not so big that they take forever to cook. Let's use a coarsely chopped yellow onion. Try to keep the layers together, and really thin slivers tend to get a little extra crispy. Garlic powder and paprika is a power duo that is too good to omit. 2. Hamburger potato casserole. This hearty casserole deliciously layers ground beef, potatoes, and vegetables into a wholesome, rustic meal that is both comforting and simple to prepare. Begin by thinly slicing fresh potatoes and layering them at the bottom of a greased casserole dish. Add thinly sliced carrots and onions on top of the potato layer. Season each vegetable layer lightly with salt, pepper, and a dash of garlic powder. Next, shape seasoned ground beef into evenly sized patties and arrange them neatly over the vegetable layers. Dot the entire casserole generously with butter to enhance the richness and flavor. Pour just enough water or beef broth around the edges to help steam the vegetables and prevent drying during baking. Cover the dish tightly with aluminum foil and bake in a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. Remove the foil in the last 10 minutes of baking to allow the beef to brown slightly and the vegetables to develop a delicious golden edge. The potatoes soak up savory juices, and the beef remains tender and flavorful, creating a satisfying dish the whole family will love. Russet potatoes are the one to choose for casseroles. They are a high-starch potato, which means it will keep its shape when cooked. Some call them Idaho potatoes. Yukon Gold potatoes are a medium-starch potato and will get soft and creamy when baked, whether in creamy mashed potatoes or scalloped potatoes. They can be used interchangeably with russets, but the texture of your casserole will be different. You can freeze it either before or after baking. Just make sure it's well wrapped, and the casserole will stay good for 2 to 3 months. To thaw, allow it to sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then place it in the oven to either bake completely or reheat. 3. Cheesy ground beef and vegetable casserole. This savory casserole effortlessly combines seasoned ground beef, tender potatoes, and mixed vegetables enveloped in creamy, comforting flavors. Start by browning ground beef with chopped onions until cooked through and aromatic. Drain any excess fat. Next, layer partially cooked sliced potatoes into a greased casserole dish, followed by canned mixed vegetables such as peas, corn, and diced carrots. Spread the cooked beef evenly on top. Then cover everything generously with cream of mushroom or cream of chicken soup, ensuring it seeps through the layers. Sprinkle shredded cheddar cheese lavishly over the casserole. Bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, covered for 30 minutes. Then uncover and bake an additional 10 minutes until the cheese melts beautifully into a golden crust, perfectly blending with the creamy, savory layers below. We recommend freshly grated cheddar because it's more flavorful. However, you can use pre-shredded if you wish, which will save you a little time. If you use fatty ground beef, the meat will shrink a lot, and there will be a lot of grease. That's why we highly recommend lean ground beef. We suggest using a green bell pepper for this recipe, but you can use a red or yellow bell pepper in casseroles, like this one. 4. Ground beef with potatoes and cabbage skillet. In this hearty skillet meal, tender ground beef, potatoes, and shredded cabbage come together for a delicious and economical dinner. Begin by sautéing ground beef with diced onions and a bit of garlic until browned. Add thinly sliced potatoes, shredded cabbage, diced celery, and season well with salt, pepper, and your preferred herbs. Pour in a small amount of water or broth, then cover and simmer gently for around 20 to 25 minutes, stirring occasionally. The potatoes become perfectly tender, absorbing the delicious juices from the beef, while the cabbage and celery soften beautifully, creating a rustic, satisfying dish brimming with comforting, home-cooked flavor. Ground chicken or turkey work just as well, or you can try adding bite-sized pieces of chicken thighs or breasts. And finely chopped tofu or tempeh crumbles are great alternatives. 5. Chicken and bread dressing casserole. This beloved Amish casserole evokes the comforting flavors of Thanksgiving in a simple one-dish meal. Start by cubing stale or toasted bread into small pieces and combining it in a large bowl with shredded cooked chicken, sautéed onions, and celery. Add slices of boiled eggs for extra richness. Gradually moisten the mixture with flavorful chicken broth, ensuring it's moist but not overly soggy. Transfer the mixture to a buttered casserole dish, gently pressing it down to ensure even cooking. Bake uncovered at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until the top turns beautifully golden brown and crispy. The delicious aroma will fill your kitchen as the bread soaks up savory chicken broth, perfectly complemented by tender chicken and vegetables, creating a warm, comforting dish perfect for family gatherings. If you're out of celery or simply not a fan, feel free to skip it. Instead of sour cream, try using cream cheese for a rich, creamy texture. To infuse more flavor, crock-pot your chicken with a herb and garlic marinade and an Italian dressing packet. This way, you can skip the poultry seasoning altogether and still get that delicious, savory depth. 6. Poor man's skillet. The poor man's skillet lives up to its humble name, offering simple, low-cost ingredients without sacrificing flavor. Just grab some potatoes, onions, and ground beef, or any meat you have handy. Even canned meat works fine. Toss them into a skillet, and sauté with basic seasonings and a bit of oil. First, briefly sauté potatoes until partially cooked. Then add onions and ground beef, cooking together until tender and fully cooked. The rustic aroma of fried potatoes combined with sautéed meat makes this simple dish a comforting, filling dinner without breaking the bank or requiring much effort. If you want to add about 1/4 cup of water to help the potatoes soften, you can. 7. One-pot spaghetti. If you're used to cooking spaghetti and sauce separately, this Amish-style spaghetti will surprise you. Everything cooks together in one pot: spaghetti noodles, ground beef, onions, garlic, and tomato sauce. Begin by sautéing onions and garlic with beef in a deep skillet, then pour in tomato sauce and water. Once bubbling gently, add dry spaghetti directly into the sauce, cover, and let it cook until noodles are perfectly tender and infused with flavorful tomato and beef juices. Finish with shredded cheese sprinkled on top to melt without needing an oven. The result is a deliciously rich and easy spaghetti dish perfect for busy weeknights. Try corn, chickpea, or buckwheat spaghetti. They are gluten-free and all have incredible individual flavors and make a welcome change if pasta is a staple in your house. The key to this recipe is to measure your water carefully and to use the right pan. You need a large, shallow sauté pan or casserole large enough to fit the pasta lying down. A large, deep frying pan would work well too. 8. Beef, cabbage, and tomato stew. This simple yet enticing beef stew blends hearty ground beef with the sweet freshness of cabbage and tomatoes. Sauté ground beef lightly with onions and garlic, then mix in canned diced tomatoes with their juice. Add thinly sliced cabbage to the skillet, cover, and simmer gently. After about 20 minutes, the cabbage turns tender, absorbing all the rich flavors of beef and tomato, creating a thick stew. Serve over rice or noodles, or enjoy straight from a bowl as a satisfying ragu. This dish is economical, comforting, and tastes even better after resting overnight. For the most tender and flavorful stew, I like to use ribeye steak or Scotch fillet. They stay tender even with quick cooking, so you don't have to boil them for hours. While these cuts are pricier, the rich flavor and tender texture are worth it, and there's minimal fat floating on top of the soup. To save money or cut calories, you can easily swap the beef for chicken, turkey, or fish. For a budget-friendly vegetarian version, try using chickpeas, black beans, or tofu instead. And here's a bonus. No added salt is needed. The natural flavors do all the work. Perfect for a hearty, comforting meal without breaking the bank. 9. One-pot chicken vegetable soup. This rustic chicken vegetable soup brings back memories of Grandma's comforting homemade soups. Using just one large pot, combine chicken broth, quartered potatoes, skin on, carrots, celery, and sliced onions. Boil for about 10 minutes until vegetables soften slightly, then add your favorite pasta, like macaroni or spiral pasta. Continue cooking a few more minutes until pasta is tender. Finally, add shredded cooked chicken, simmer until heated through, and enjoy the soothing aroma of hearty broth mixed with tender vegetables and pasta. Simple yet flavorful, this soup warms and comforts everyone who tastes it. 10th. Amish beef and egg noodle stew. The list wouldn't be complete without the renowned beef and egg noodle stew. Beef simmers slowly with onions and simple seasonings until falling apart tender. The stew thickens naturally into a luscious sauce. Add dry egg noodles directly into the beef broth to cook until perfectly al dente, absorbing all the savory goodness. In one pot, you get both tender beef and chewy egg noodles, creating an irresistibly comforting meal. With minimal seasoning, just salt and pepper, highlighting the natural flavors of beef and noodles, this stew is nourishing, satisfying, and feels like a warm hug from the inside. Conclusion. These 10 dishes showcase the simplicity and convenience of Amish one-pot cooking without compromising deliciousness and nutrition. Hopefully, you've felt inspired by these cozy Amish recipes and are excited to create comforting, flavorful meals for your family. Step into your kitchen, adapt these dishes to your tastes, and bring even more warmth and variety to your dinner table.